Welcome, everyone. Today, we're embarking on a pretty incredible scientific expedition. In this explainer, we're going to track the journey of the humble Prosopis africana seed. We'll be following its path all the way from a vibrant traditional West African market straight into a high-tech chemometric lab. It's basically a story of ancient culinary traditions colliding with cutting-edge modern science, and it is fascinating. So here's the central mystery we're looking at today. How does the simple, hard seed transform into a brain-boosting superfood? What we're really exploring is the absolute magic of traditional fermentation. We're going to discover exactly how this time-honored process unlocks a massive treasure trove of powerful, health-promoting biochemicals that are just hidden deep inside the matrix of this seed. All right, part 1. The journey of the okpeye seed. Now, long before it ever reaches a lab, this seed has to go through a seriously rigorous physical transformation in the kitchens of southeastern Nigeria. And honestly, what's incredible is the sheer physical endurance required here. Walk through this with me for a second. First, the raw seeds are boiled for a grueling 6 hours until they swell up and get tender. Then, they're literally pressed between the thumb and finger just to extract the cotyledons. Step 3 is where the real magic kicks in. They're packed into pots lined with banana leaves and left to ferment for 4 whole days. And finally, they're ground into a paste, shaped into balls, and sun-dried until they turn black. This intense, multi-day process transforms the seeds into the pungent, umami-rich traditional seasoning culturally known as okpeye. Moving on to part 2, the fermentation metamorphosis. So we're transitioning now from those macroscopic physical steps right into the microscopic world. Because inside those banana leaves, microbes are busy unlocking a major biological treasure, and that is GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid. Now, this is a non-protein amino acid, but much more importantly for us, it acts as the primary inhibitory neurotransmitter in our central nervous system. In plain terms, it's a compound that's absolutely crucial for regulating stress, improving sleep, and even lowering blood pressure. It's super highly sought after in modern functional foods, and as it turns out, the traditional okpeye process produces it entirely naturally. The crucial point here is exactly how it gets there, which happens through this really fascinating biochemical trade-off. See, we've got glutamic acid on one side. That's our starting precursor, and it's super abundant in the raw seed. On the flip side is GABA, our functional treasure. During fermentation, the microbes are put under environmental stress, like the low oxygen levels inside those tightly wrapped banana leaves. So to survive, they use a specific enzyme to literally cut a piece off the glutamic acid molecule, converting it directly into that highly desired GABA. It's essentially this brilliant microbial survival mechanism that just so happens to create a human health superfood for us. Next up, part 3. Expedition into the lab. Let's shift our expedition directly into the modern scientific lab and take a look at the high-tech tools guiding our journey. To map all of this out, scientists used ultra-high-performance liquid chromatography coupled with a diode array detector, or, thankfully, UHPLC-DAD for short, along with principal component analysis. You can think of these tools as our ultimate analytical magnifying glass, basically allowing us to peer right into the exact amino acid profile of the okpeye. Okay, part 4, decoding the amino acids. Let's dive into the hard data gathered from 4 different samples. We've got 3 traditional market-sourced samples here: okpeye A from Orba, okpeye B from Opi, and okpeye C from Uzuwani. And then we have okpeye D, which was a batch produced in a university lab setting in Malaysia. Notice how the traditional market-sourced samples significantly outpace the laboratory-produced batch? It's pretty wild. The traditional environmental conditions clearly possess this unique microbial magic that the sterile lab just really struggled to replicate. And this brilliantly illustrates the ultimate winner of our nutritional journey. Okpeye C from Uzuwani absolutely soars above the rest. We're talking about a massive 48.06 milligrams of GABA per 100 grams of dry fermented okpeye. That is an incredibly potent concentration of this neuroprotective compound, officially establishing this regional variant as the absolute peak of our superfood map. Part 5, mapping the nutrient network. But hey, our expedition doesn't stop at just one compound, right? We need to map out the entire ecosystem. This principal component analysis biplot basically acts as our literal scientific treasure map, explaining over 83% of the variance in the samples. If you look at the data, you'll see GABA clustered tightly together with essential amino acids like leucine, lysine, serine, and methionine. What this proves is that these nutrients are co-regulated during the journey. When the fermentation conditions are just right to produce high GABA, they're simultaneously boosting all these other critical health-promoting amino acids. Talk about a win-win. Building on that idea, this correlation biplot shows how the different okpeye samples actually separate out based on their metabolic pathways. It visually proves that having a high initial glutamate level on the raw seed, which sits on the total opposite side of GABA in the data here, is the crucial map coordinate required to reach that high GABA production. As the microbes consume the glutamate, the GABA levels shoot up. It's just a perfect snapshot of metabolic trade-offs right in action. And finally, part 6, a modern superfood destination. So, we've finally arrived at our destination. We've tracked the seed, we've decoded the microbes, but what does all this actually mean for global diets? Well, the crucial takeaway is this. This research represents the very first systematic quantification of GABA in okpeye, period. It definitively proves the synergistic enrichment of both functional compounds like our neurotransmitter GABA and those essential dietary proteins. It formally validates okpeye on the world stage as a bona fide, health-promoting, functional food. And honestly, most excitingly, it highlights the massive, completely untapped potential hiding within African fermented condiments. We are looking at an unprecedented dual nutritional significance here. Which leads us to this really powerful conclusion from the researchers themselves. This positions okpeye as a unique case where traditional fermentation enhances both neurotransmitter-related compounds and protein quality simultaneously. This isn't just about making food taste good with umami flavors. It's a completely ancient preparation method that's now been totally validated by modern science as a way to engineer superior nutrition. And that brings us to the very end of our expedition today. But I want to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought. What other incredible medicinal treasures are just hiding out there in the traditional foods we haven't even mapped yet? Think about it. If the humble Prosopis africana seed can yield such profound neurological benefits through a simple 4-day banana leaf fermentation, just imagine what else is out there waiting for its own scientific expedition. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey through the data. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.